Paul, good to see you.
And you.
Before we talk about Truro on the weekend, let's just look back over the last couple of games for
Yep.
United in the week so far. How would you assess the week so far for the goals?
I thought the Saturday game against Tonbridge, tough game. Tonbridge come down. I think there's a lot of teams now that we're going to have to get very used to are going to come down and play for a point and celebrate a point, which is fine. First half we didn't do enough. We didn't test their goalkeeper. Second half, completely dominant, still without testing their goalkeeper enough for my liking. Totally comfortable, totally dominant in the game. We have to be better in attacking areas. We know that in the last two games. Mm-hmm. Before that, I think we've been absolutely fine. We score. It's disallowed. I think that goal goes in. We win. It's a 1-0 game. Everyone goes home without talking about it really, and because it finishes 0-0. I think lots of people feel like it's points dropped, myself included. But listen, we scored. We won the game, but the record books will say we didn't. So it's hugely frustrating. We went on to Tuesday night against Maidstone, who by the way will 100% finish in the top 7 of this league, hands down. I don't think Torquay got a point off them last year, and I think they knocked them out of the cup as well. So that's a team that went away to Ipswich and beat them in the FA Cup. The manager knows exactly what he's doing. They set up a certain way. They play a certain way. First half, there's absolutely nothing in the game. We make a mistake. They score a wonder free kick. You go in 1-0 down. So at the moment, that's... I feel like the goals we're conceding at Plainmoor, although I feel they're soft from my point of view, the opposition team will be saying, what a goal. Yeah, it's a hell of a strike. Do you know what I mean? And he won't hit enough. So we're dealing with those little bits of misfortune at the minute. And second half, we kept going, we huffed, we puffed. We were far. It was not a pretty game. It was not a pretty game from Maidstone or from us. Very difficult conditions to get the ball down and play. I thought we had 3 or 4 players off the pace massively. It was our 4th game in 12 days. I thought that we looked a little bit leggy. The huge positive is we didn't lose. We kept going. I think after 17 league games, the facts say we're a tough team to beat, which is great. It's a huge positive. And we'll only get better and we'll only improve. So that's my view on the week.
And obviously, Torquay, Plainmoor has become a very hard place for teams to come and... You're unbeaten at home, and that run continues, and that must be a pleasing aspect of this week as well.
Yes, it is. We're fully aware that some of those draws we would love to have made into wins. Now, I don't want to keep repeating myself. We've scored 3 goals this season that have been disallowed, right? And this is the last time I'm going to go on about it because I'm boring myself talking about it. The Welling goal is a goal. We get an apology to say it's a goal. Chelmsford, Sam Dreher's goal to make it 3-1 on the stroke of half time. We've had an apology. Not an apology. We've been told it was the wrong decision by the FA by the referees, coaches. Okay, it makes a huge impact on the game. Tunbridge Angels, we've been told by the FA coach it's a wrong decision. That's 3 goals chalked off. Now we're not scoring enough goals at home. I get that, but we are a very hard team to beat, which is fantastic. So you build from foundations, which is great. We're all frustrated that we should be winning at home more, but there ain't a team on the planet going to come down to Torquay and make it easy for us. It's tough.
You mentioned on Tuesday about that you felt that maybe you were trying to find the spark on Tuesday.
Yeah.
A little bit, something to really sort of get you going.
Yep.
Where do you think that's going to be coming from on the weekend against Truro?
Well, it can come from anywhere. It can come from a great bit of play. It can come from, a spark can be a good tackle or a big header or that can spark a crowd as well. I felt it was flat on Tuesday night. I thought we were flat. I felt Maidstone were quite flat. It was a flat game. It wasn't a good spectacle at all.
You get them occasionally, though, don't you?
Of course you do, and there'll be more like that. You know, it's football, but there'll be other games that are exhilarating as well. And I think, a lot of people judge a game by its scoreline, right? So we didn't play well on Tuesday night. I'll be the first to admit that. If we had nicked it in the last minute and won 2-1, the perception of the game would have been, do you know what? We actually done all right there.
Yeah.
But we didn't. So it's the scoreline, you know, 0-0 against Tunbridge in complete control. 1-1 against St Albans in complete control. 2-2 against Chelmsford for large periods of it. We were very good. We shouldn't concede when we're 2-0 up. We shouldn't draw the game 2-2. But the scoreline can cloud people's judgments of a performance. But Tuesday night was not pretty.
You will obviously have to play against your former club in the league this season in Truro, but do you think it was almost a little bit written in the stars, perhaps, that you were going to meet in a cup competition this season?
Yeah, possibly. It's a competition we want to do well in. It's a game we're looking forward to. So it's Truro at home. That's what we've got. So it's it'll be a good game.
How did you feel when that draw was made and you heard that it was going to be Truro here?
I think there's a sense of, you know, it's football. You get drawn against who you get drawn against, and as you said, my paths are going to definitely cross with Truro again. And it's, you know, it's when I left Plymouth Argyle, I played against them in the league. It's football. It's what happens.
What are your memories of your time at Truro? Many happy memories of your time there.
Yeah, many happy ones. A lot of travelling. You know, it was tough. You know, didn't have a home ground and didn't have the fan base that they've got now. But lots of good people at the football club, and you know, remit was to get them out the Southern Premier Division, which we did, and then to stay up in the National League South last year was all bar a miracle, really, with, you know, the amount of games called off and the way that the football club had to do it. But overall, good memories, and I learned an awful lot about myself and about management as well. So yeah, got a lot of nothing but good to say about them.
And what you're expecting from them on the weekend, Paul?
They've obviously started the season fantastically well. I know the vast majority of their players because I signed them. They play a similar formation to when I was there as well. So, you know, and they've got a manager who's got a fantastic CV. He's managed in the Football League and he's had lots of promotions. So we know we're in for a very tough game. They'll be very well organised. Set pieces, they'll be strong. We're in for a tough game again.
You mentioned that you obviously want to do well in the competition this year. I mean, it's the road to Wembley and it starts this weekend for the goals, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think there's an added thing as well that, you know, the FA Cup game this year it's been, you know, well documented by myself especially, that we let the fans down. So we're doing all we can to win the game and get into the next round. Simple as that.
How's your team looking? Any fresh injury concerns?
Finley Krask is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, unfortunately. So other than Wanacott and Krask, we're fit.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All the
Cheers.
best.
Thank you.
What's up with Finley?
Finn's got, when he went off against Tonbridge, I was quite concerned about it at the time, but it's been proved to be not quite as bad as we first thought. However, he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. He's taken a whack in his calf and the bleeding's gone into his shin. So he's had a big impact injury there, and he's going to struggle for a little bit.
Paul, you've got a touchline ban on Saturday. Has that happened to you before, and how are you going to cope with that this weekend?
Yeah, I've had bans before. Yeah, had a touchline ban last year. It's about trusting your staff in the dugout. It's only a touchline ban, Clive, so I can be in the change room. I can, you know, confirmation hasn't actually come through yet if it's Saturday or not, but it on its due. Yeah, it's not a lot you can do about it, mate. It's just you know,
Watch the game from the stand, I guess.
Yeah, and be in constant contact with the dugout as well.
So you can go in the...
You can go in the change. It's a touchline ban, so you can go in the changing room, You can't enter the field of play and you can't be in the dugout.
Right.
And you can't give directions from the.
No.
You can't stand on the sideline and give directions. So
No. When you've got a game like this in the trophy,
yeah,
you'll be picking a certain side. John Askey will be picking a certain side. Will there be anything in your mind, or do you think in his, about how this game goes, what the outcome goes, and for when we meet them in the league, which is not
New Year's Day,
isn't it?
New Year's Day, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything, or do you just look? Let's play this game, set it aside, and all, you know. In other words, are you looking at stuff?
I get what you're saying. Personally, no.
No.
I think between Saturday and New Year's Day is a long time to go, and things can change, personnel and form and shapes and all that sort of thing. And I can't speak for John, but I'm guessing he's more experienced than me. I'm guessing he'd be the same as well. It's just game by game. I don't think. I think with Y-Scout now, it's so accessible to watch games that you can't keep anything a secret anyway. Really, I think it's on the day you go out there to win the game and try your best.
And would you look on this as any kind of an opportunity to try one or two things and to have a look at different people in different positions? I know that automatically almost indicate that it's not as important as a full blown league match, but is there something that's in the back of your mind?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Dave. I think it's a game we're taking very, very seriously.
If they line up in a similar way to Torquay, so maybe 3-5-2 against 3-5-2, what's important for Torquay to do in that scenario? Does it just come down to individuals, or what do you think?
I think as in any game of football, you have to dominate your opponent in that position. So whether we're playing 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, whatever, Clive, I think if you're playing central midfield, you need to dominate your central midfield player. If you're playing centre back, you need to dominate the centre forward. There's different ways. I mean, you play 3-5-2. I'm presuming Truro are going to play 3-5-2. It's not always in straight lines. Different movements, different patterns you can play. It's being on the training ground, which is one thing we've missed, obviously, with these loads of games as well. We haven't been able to train fully because of recovery and stuff. I think getting on the training ground is really, really important. But there's different ways of playing 3-5-2. Two centre forward, one might drop in and one might start running longer and so on. We've got to come up with, it's that chess game, innit? You've got to come up with a different way to try and beat their formation. I get what you're saying. It can, it's, you have to tweak a couple of little things, and hopefully the players listen and do what you want them to do.
Well, talking about the wider sort of, sorry, Pat, a little bit about what we were talking about before and your comments about frustration and stuff like that. We're 17 games in.
Yeah.
It's gone pretty well, really.
Yeah.
And this frustration word occasionally creeps in because everybody wants us to be winning,
of course,
each week.
Yep.
You've got quite a lot of young kids here. I know we spoke about this the other week.
Yeah.
The whole expectation thing.
Yeah.
No doubt from you and from everybody else.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a factor which you're having to kind of like speak to the players about, or keep your eye on that aspect? Because the crowd's been pretty good. No, the crowd hasn't turned or anything like that. Or
No.
I thought on Tuesday night they were, they really. Well, they went quiet a bit, but that's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this whole expectation thing of we should be beating these teams, we should be, etc., etc. Is that something that's always in your mind, and you're thinking about how do I help these players through that kind of stuff?
I think you're absolutely spot on. It's in my mind very much. I'm hoping the crowd haven't turned. Do you know what I mean? It's
in other words, there's no booing or anything.
No,
like
listen,
that,
it's
even when you were struggling.
For me personally, right, Tuesday night was a flat game. It was a poor game of football, right? And I understand, you want to come and watch and be entertained, don't you? I get that. I heard someone behind was like, it's hoofball. It flabbergasted me that at no point have we told the players to boot it long. You can see at times our play at home's been fantastic. The way we move the ball and stuff. The conditions and the opposition made it very, very difficult to play that way on Tuesday night. I felt like we lacked a little bit of intensity Tuesday night. A little bit of, we're 1-0 down. Come on, boys. We got to go and score, which fortunately we did. The expectation of home games to win is high, and I think it is for the vast majority of football clubs to win their home games. Teams aren't going to make it easy for us here, Dave. They're not going to, and it's up to myself to find a way to break teams down and play a formation or get players in the right positions to do that. I think our home form, we've created multiple chances against Tunbridge and against Maidstone. We didn't. And you only ever really remember the last few games. So I get it. I get frustration's a horrible thing, really. It's to get frustrated. And I don't think disappointment's the right word. I think it is frustration, and it's, I've got to say, we're not going to be a great football team in the space of time so far. We're a tough team to beat. We're 4th in the league. We're 4 points off top. We've arguably been cost 7 points by refereeing decisions that have been admitted to being mistakes. I don't think we're too far away. I think we'll only improve. To coin a phrase that I listened to on Torquay Talk, it's Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time.
You spoke on Tuesday about wanting your team further up the pitch. What can you tell us about how that is achieved during the game?
When we're playing the players higher up the pitch? Yeah, absolutely. I think, first and foremost, you need control of the football. You can't just, if you're not playing particularly well, or the ball's in the air, or you're not getting it down, or you're giving possession away cheaply, Patrick, I think it's hard to take that risk and fly high up the pitch. I think in possession, we want to be advanced, we want to be attacking, of course we do, and we want to. You're not going to score a goal if you're deep all the time. I just think it's players being braver, but that I thought at times on Tuesday we turned back and played safe a lot, which is fine, but you've got to play forward at some point. Look at Man City, probably the best club team in Europe at the minute. They but they play forward. They might go backwards two or three times, but it's only ever to find a forward pass. People can get. It can be a misunderstanding of what as well of playing forward means you're launching it forward. That's not what we're asking them to do. That's not. You can play forward progressive football, but it hasn't always got to be volleyed 60 yards in the air over the top. It's not going to work at this level. You got to be better than that, and we know we've got to be better than that. Tuesday night we weren't great at that. I think in the Tunbridge game especially, if you look back through the game and actually analyse the game, our patterns of play that we do in training were really, really evident in that game. Our rotations and our movement was top class, really was. And if we could have scored a goal or two, everyone's like, wow, Torquay played really well today. It's the scoreline, the perception of the scoreline.
Is that a little bit about giving them permission to fail?
You've got to be brave.
Yeah, because at any given time, it strikes me you've got three really good centre halves, keeping the back door shut potentially. So if you are giving the ball away in midfield, is it worth saying to them that you're happy for them to take that little bit more of a risk?
Well, we want them to be brave. We don't want players to be negative in their play. Ultimately, you can only give them directions. You can't make that decision for them on the football pitch, and it's bravery. Really, it comes down to bravery, and I think in the final third, especially Clive, I think you're right. You have to try things, and if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. They've still got 80, 90 yards to go to your goal. I get what you're saying. And we work on it. We work on attacking play probably 80% of the time in training, because defensively, touch wood, we've been okay. I think bravery is the right word. Be a little bit braver, bit more positive.
The challenge of Truro, we'll talk about them, but what specifically are they going to present us with?
Well organised, physical, fit, set piece threat, good team, got good players, started the season fantastically well. It's great that they're back playing in Truro, getting really good crowds, which obviously wasn't there for 4 years, and the club deserve that. Win for a tough game.
And it's a cup game, so that means different things for season ticket holders, and so everyone coming will be paying to come in. So we appreciate everyone, and we need their support here on Saturday, don't we? And the team will be looking to perform for them.
Patrick, the fans are unbelievable. Tuesday night was not a nice game. It was freezing cold. The wind was blowing all over the place, and it wasn't a good spectacle of football. And we still get clapped off at the end. And you get clapped off at the end because whatever happened on the pitch, the boys kept going and kept going and kept going, and they kept going and got a goal, and they never quit. They never stopped, even though it wasn't pretty and it wasn't our night. It wasn't going to be our night. We didn't play well. We had too many players off it. Too many players looked a bit leggy. Maidstone played good shape as well. Maidstone have got some players who get in any team in this league, by the way. There's also, when I talk about that perception of a scoreline, there's also that perception of a position in the league. Maidstone will 100% finish in the top 7. Hands down. It's not a bad point. If we beat Tunbridge, we're not having these discussions of frustration and disappointment, and it's just perception of a scoreline, mate. So we're working ridiculously hard. We're 4th in the league after 17 games. Tuesday night wasn't beautiful. We're doing all right.
One individual, Ben Seymour hasn't been involved in the last couple of games.
No.
That's not a fitness thing, presumably. You've taken him out. He's not had the start he hoped for, I've no doubt, in terms of goals and everything. Is it? I presume he's still training well and doing that. I suppose when you don't pick somebody, obviously it's because you think someone else is better.
Yeah.
But what's the situation with him? Is he? I know he's a player
Ben's part of the squad.
You believe in because you signed him.
Yeah. Ben's part of the squad. Ben's training hard, as all the players are. We brought in Kiki Jeffers, who can play in that position. Kiki's a winger as well. Do you know what I mean? That's why we brought him on Tuesday. In that we didn't bring him on at left wing back. We brought him on at left wing. The shape actually changed, which is Kiki's natural position. We changed formation a little bit over the last few games, playing Jordan Young and Omar Musa with Cody Cook. So I'm not sure. We needed 3 centre forwards out of 5 on the bench with Brad and Kiki, who can obviously play there. But no, it hasn't. Ben's scored 1 goal and he's just found himself out the squad the last 2 games. It's never personal. He hasn't done anything glaringly wrong.
Is this the sort of thing that sometimes strikers, when they're in a bit of a lean spell, they go through this and they have to just.
Yeah, but what I will say, he's working. He's working tremendously hard. There's a lot of games left. A lot of games left, and we're going to need a squad.